Okay, let's see if we have anybody in here. What's up, guys? I can't spell. Hi. Try that again. Everyone. There you go. All right. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Thompson. I am here for my spelling skills, as well as the fact that I am an illustrator and sculptor and all that fun stuff. I thought it would be fun to start this thing off. If you guys have been here before, you know me, I get into the sculpting thing, and I don't really get into the title of my thing, which is illustration by way of sculpture. You know, I've told you before that I am an illustrator. What's up, Ken? What is going on? Yeah, so I work for companies like Hasbro and Mattel and stuff like that, doing toy box art, you know, G.I. Joe stuff, superhero stuff and everything, but I don't really show the finished product, so I thought it'd be cool to show a few pieces of what I've done. So I'm gonna bear with me, let's see. I want to, let's see, save the, copy transform. Okay, I'm gonna make this thing bigger, full screen, no, transform, fit to screen. All right, cool. So you should be seeing a giant head of me. Daniel Bell, what is up, man? How you doing, brother? The amazing Daniel Bell's in the room, you guys. Say what's up to him. He is responsible for a ton of dope statues. So what I was talking about earlier, like I do sculpt. I'm a fairly new sculptor. I've only been doing it for probably 5 years. Only just recently got real clients, but normally what I do is box art for stuff. So this is a Poison Ivy for DC signature, and then I do like illustrations like this. So this is something I did for those guys, and then they make it look really cool on a box. I have another one here really quickly. So I never talked about this part of it, you guys. And this one for this dude named Metron. Again, another DC guy, but he's the guy that is in like this chair that floats around through space. And so like I do an illustration like this, and then they make it look cool in a box. Same thing with G.I. Joes and all that. So, all right, shameless plug, done. That's what I do. So if you are following my Facebook feed, you've seen this week that I've been posting a lot of whips of the Hulk sculpture that I'm doing with you in here, right? So had some ups and downs, and I thought I would show you what we have here if you've never seen this before. Cesar, what's up? Attentive Slug, what's going on? Yeah, Daniel Bell's stream the other day was fire, you guys. All right, so I'm working on this guy, right? And it's crazy because I'm printing this on a filament printer. It's PLA, and I'm getting something that's very, very similar to this. So if you look at this picture, well, you can't see anything right now because I'm not sharing my screen. Haha, let's share the screen. Also, I got a new mic. I should sound a little better. Let's see, paste, transform. There you go. All right, so this is what I was gonna show you. This is what we've been working on, and then I've been printing it on my Ender 5, which I was gonna add a camera for that, but I didn't do it just yet. But when it comes off of the Ender, it looks something like this, right? This is the process. This is unfortunately a fail because I was printing, and as it almost finished, it was like 95% done. The filament snagged on the spool, and so it didn't finish. So this is like 27 hours. And you see, this thing is huge, right? It's freaking massive. But the print is beautiful. I think it came out really, really nice. In fact, let me make the screen big one more time, all right? Because you're gonna want to see this. You will want to bear with me. You're gonna want to see this, you guys. Fit to screen. All right, cool. So you see the level of detail here? Like pores and all that. It's crazy. Crazy. Ashy elbows, check. Veins, check. So this is what it looks like right off of the printer. And then these supports down here, if you haven't 3D printed before, they just pop off. So you just pop them off, get them all over the place. I recently switched from using Cura to Simplify 3D, and the supports just come off so much easier. Like, look at this, they just pop. They just pop right off. So like this, all right, don't pay attention to the little hole down there, I could plug that. But this, if I was doing this with Cura, I would be using needle nose pliers, and it would take me an hour to get everything off and clean. This is really super clean. All things considered, this is bananas how clean this thing is. So even though this is a fail, it's good because I learned a lot from this, right? I think the thickness of this is thick enough that I can drop my infill down to, I could probably do 0. It's a 10% infill right now. And by dropping it down to 0, I'm still, it's still super solid, but it'll print faster, right? So that's that. So I'll show you the things that were the success. So that's the fail. This is the success, right? So this is the hand. And you can see it kept crazy amounts of detail. Like pores and wrinkles and blah, 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 all that. So if we look at our hand on the screen, which is, you can't see, well, I'll show you in a second, right? Let me keep showing you this. So then I have, I printed his other hand, right? So I got both of these, and the scale of these is massive. Excellent. So yeah, really big hands, right? But look at that detail, it's crazy. So that's that. And then here's the arm that worked. And you can tell this thing is, it's massive. But then you just key it right in. And when I go and fill this and glue it down, it's gonna look baller. Like this Hulk is gonna be really big. I keep forgetting my camera's way over there now. But yeah. So I tell you all that to tell you this. If we go back to my Hulk and we look at his arm, I think this is this one. Let's see. I think this is this one right here, right? So if we look at this arm and then we look at this arm over here, not too shabby. Not too shabby. See, the key is good and clean. Fingers are really, really nice. Pores, everything came out nice. So, and the scale of this is crazy. So originally I was really bummed out over the fact, and I'm going to answer the questions in a second, but I was bummed out at this, right? So immediately I was like, I'll show you, printer. So I set up another one to print immediately after that, which is on the plate here. And guess what? The filament that I bought, which is marketed to be tangle-free, tangled again. So same damn thing happened. This is, and I was out of the house, so this was going for several hours and went through the entire print run, and I wasn't here. But again, because that spool of, imagine like it's a spool of yarn that for whatever reason it tangled, and it couldn't feed, the filament couldn't feed up into the nozzle to melt and come out. And so this dropped down, the thing just moved around up here, and you got no print, as opposed to something like this where it was successful, and as it dropped down it printed a new layer. So that part sucks, but good thing is, instead of being impatient and painting this, which I cannot wait to paint this. Like I have all of my paints and and airbrush and all that, and it's all good to go. I can play around with this, so I can work on my shading and veins and really go to town with this guy. And it's girthy enough that you know, I got plenty to work with there. So if you're asking, I haven't looked at the chat yet. I'm about to do it right now. But if you're asking, all I did with this, I did very light sanding with a little bit of steel wool, right? Just a tiny bit of steel wool on the edges of this, right? Just to knock down the shine and knock down a little bit of the line. But the build lines, you can't even really see them. Like they're that fine on this. So so yeah, and then after that, I just hit it with a little bit of primer that I got from like Michael's, or I mean, it might have been Lowe's, like Lowe's or Home Depot, one of those. All right, so anyway, that's that. Let me read what's going on here because I missed a lot of comments. What's up, Randy? Yeah, it's really gonna be big. So yeah, the error wasn't in the print, the error was in the filament and the fact that it tangled and it wouldn't feed the way that it was supposed to. What's up? The hand is giant, yes it is. Print settings. So I use the base settings that came with Simplify 3D. I just popped in my printer, which was the Creality Ender 5, and the only thing I changed was I think I turned down the infill to 10%, and that might be it. I mean, it's pretty much straight out of the can on this one, which was crazy. Because I really did a whole lot of messing around with Cura to get the the level of detail on Zion that I got. All right, it just ran out. Tangle, yeah. All right, cool. All right, cool. So that being said, how does everything sound, you guys? All right, I'm sorry for the squeaky chair, but the microphone should sound good. I got a new like studio quality joint, so I'm pretty happy with that. Cheers. All right, so let's get into it. So before I get back into getting the cuts on this guy, continuing this, I thought I would show you what you saw on the screen earlier. So this is a piece that I did a while ago, and it's just a sculpt that I did in ZBrush, and then my first attempt at Substance Painter. And the great thing about this particular piece is it kind of forced me to really learn anatomy. I was looking at my écorché and just diving in. I wanted him to feel like, instead of it being just something that was covering him, like it was just muscles. So I'm gonna dig into this at some point and do a print of this. I don't know if I'll be successful with these tendrils. I probably have to do some of these by hand with clay and maybe make a mold and then make resin from that, like make a two-piece mold and then fill them with resin. But that's this piece. So I thought I would show it to you in here, and you can just see kind of some of the detail. I have some lens blur going on, but you can see some of the detail in that. And originally it looked like this. So this is the original print of it with the base. All right. Blah, 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 blah. Me. Enough about me. Let's keep going. All right. Hey, thanks, man. Free stream. Let's see. Thanks, Randy. All right. So now let's hide Photoshop. Try to hide Photoshop. There you go. Let's go to ZBrush, which for some reason popped on my other screen. I'll do that. Come on, dude. All right, ZBrush is doing a thing on the other screen. Give it a second here. Escape. Okay. All right, now make this big. Okay. What's left to be printed on my Hulk? On the Hulk, also, Why is Restream not staying on top? Let me fix this real quick. Restream settings, appearance. Always on top is clicked. Always on top. Always on top. And turn down the opacity just a little bit and say okay to this. Yes. All right. Okay. So yeah, for Hulk, obviously I have to get a successful left arm for him. I have his left hand, I have his right hand, I have his left arm. I have to do his legs. If I come over here, frame. Okay, I was fixing his head, but I have to do his. Get the Zion out of here. Get out of here with your ear holes. All right, so got to do his torso, and his chest, and his head for now. And I have to figure out the base. But what I noticed on this, which I was like, all right, I was in such a rush to, you know, get everything done. I'm over here detailing skin pores and this, that, and the third, making sure all my anatomy is right. And I looked at his face and I had some major issues where when this thing dynameshed, I have spikes all over the place. The reason for that being he has a mouth bag, which is totally useless. Like I don't need that at all. So when I dynameshed with the teeth, I got spikes that shot out of between his teeth because ZBrush didn't know how to handle it. It also got kind of crummy around the hair in some places. So what I did was I went in and I started messing around with an older version that wasn't dynameshed. I started detailing his hair a little bit more, which I think is going to look better because the original hair looked not so detailed. And in fact, there was a spot where I completely forgot to texture it at all, this part back here. So this looks like soft serve ice cream right now. Not exactly the look that I was going for. So went in and kind of detailed that up a bit, crisped it up, sharpened it. And so the hair's all right. We have the Cookie Monster teeth and eyes right now. I realized I didn't do anything to the eyebrows still. I didn't even subdivide them, so that's not good. So I got to do that. And then when I looked at the head, I did not even texture all of it. I didn't even finish knocking out the clay buildup in the back because I don't know what I was doing. Stripping, apparently. So I need to bring that up, the level of detail to the rest of the guy, and then I can print his head. Now, what I have in mind for this guy, by the way, is because he's going to be so big, and because I want to do a few of these for some friends, I'm going to do a switch out of his head. I think I'm going to do a different sculpt of his head with like a general Thunderbolt Ross, so I can do a paint app that's red and make him the Red Hulk. I thought that would look kind of cool. And I might even, if I can get it to work right, I was thinking for his arms, I might do a switch out on those. So I have one of these things going on, right? I think his shoulders can kind of stay where they are. And I can just kind of do like the fist punch and then swap out to the Ross head. And then that's the red version. And then the arms down looking kind of pensive is the green version. So again, my thing didn't stay on the top. What's going on with that? Restream. All right, let's see. Thank you. Neo, thanks, man. Randy, Carnage is awesome. Thank you. You guys are just being really cool today. What's up, Yaz? France, you guys safe over there, man? You guys being safe? I'll say. Okay, so you colored it with Photoshop or ZBrush? The Carnage was painted in Substance Painter. So I made UVs for that, and then painted all of the Like I went crazy with the levels of like, I don't know, like muscles and all that crap. It's hard to see it here, but there's a lot more going on there than what you see. Restream, boom. Basically got over 100. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the thing with this is that it took forever for me to sculpt this, and it's coming out on a, I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine over at Sideshow. It's coming out like, it almost looks like resin. So I don't want to rush it, you know, like I want it to be really, really dope. And so why rush it, you know? I'm not in a hurry. Where am I going? It's a pandemic, you guys. All right, Gray Hulk. Yeah, Gray Hulk would be kind of cool, actually. All right. Yeah, I'm using the Creality Ender 5. Let me put that in the chat. Ender 5. And it's just a regular basic 5. I know they have like a pro version now or something. Yeah, it's just the Ender 5. Thanks, guys. Neo is the one. All right, so that's that. Back to this. So while I'm in here with you, I think what I want to do, I just slammed my glass into the microphone. Sorry about that. I think I want to take off my Superman ring. It's Big Shaq Superman. Take off my ring, so I don't scuff up my screen here, and let's split the legs real quick. Also, what I was thinking that would be a good move for him is this is really big. So rather than, and in fact, I have my ruler here. Let's turn on the ruler. Let's turn off everything but the ruler. All right, here's my ruler. All right, and this is actually 2 rulers stacked. So it's 24 inches tall. All right, I wanted to have like quarter scale on this guy. So if I grab the ruler and let's just duplicate it. Let me grab 1/2 of it, delete the hidden part. Okay, turn on the legs. Turn on the legs. Okay. And if I grab this ruler, kind of rotate it, bring it over here. Let's figure out how big this is going to be. It's going to be mad big, you guys. All right, so from pinky to pinky here, he is about, all right, about 12 inches. A little more than 12 inches from foot to foot. So I know that the base of my printer is this is the base of my printer. Okay, so if I'm measuring this, this is 9 inches from corner to corner, and if I did it diagonally, I can get almost 12, which means that if I wanted to try to print the lower half of the body by itself, I couldn't. It would be outside of the print range. So what that means is I know I'm going to split I'm going to split the legs at around the knee so that you'll have 2 separate feet and calves. But what I was thinking I could do too, because I don't want a super long print for the torso, is I'm thinking about splitting it along the fly. And then that line goes all the way around the back, so I don't have to worry about a nasty seam. I can kind of hide it in the jeans itself. So let's do that today, actually. Let's do it right now. It's enough of me talking. It's a blah, blah, blah. I'm just talking all day, you guys. It's a whole lot of me. You didn't come here for a bunch of jibber jabber. Again, the thing is not staying on top. This, man, come on, restring. Yeah, sure. You want to see like painting techniques? I can do that. I have a couple of earlier streams. If you go to my YouTube, which is at the top of my thing here, I have a whole section for ZBrush Lives. There should be like 25 of them, and they're all 2 to 3 hours long. Look for the Bishop painting. I did a Bishop from X-Men, and I do poly painting, and I have my techniques in there for that. So check that out if you want to see something right away. Not right now, but later on. This is an easy way to know the real world scale of your object. Yeah, okay, so that's a fantastic question. What I used for this, by the way, is I started with my ruler, and let's do this. All right, so I have my ruler. Let's make a clone of this so it's its own subtool. Now all I have is the ruler here. These are 2 rulers stacked on top of each other, which is like 24 inches, right? Not like, it is 24 inches, 2 12-inch rulers. If you're using metric, sorry, I don't know metric. I did not pay attention to that in school at all. But yeah, if you're in the US of A, it's inches. So if we go over to the plugin and go to your where is it? Scale Master. Click on Scale Master. Okay. I know that this ruler is 24 inches tall, so if I go Scale Master and I go Set Scene Scale, I know I want it to be inches as well. So let's click on inches, change it from millimeters to inches. Then if I go Set Scene Scale, it's going to give me a bunch of options here, right? I want the thing that's closest to the scale I'm looking for. So the one up here that has inches, I know it's not 609 inches tall. I know it's around 24 inches tall, which is what this is. It's not 609 millimeters or 60 centimeters or 2 feet. Actually, it is all of those things. Again, you didn't come here for math. But I want it in inches, so I want 24 inches. I'm going to click on that, right? And so now it's set for inches. This ruler should be about 24 inches. So if I go to that plugin once again and I go look at my sliders, see it says 24.00009. So 24 inches is, for all intents and purposes, this big. All right. So mission accomplished. If you're anything like me, you'll sculpt something and it will either be teeny tiny, like when I first did the Hulk, he was like this, or it will be several, feet tall, or even, a mile tall or something, like just a giant thing. So this is really good for me because ZBrush doesn't really have a set scale like Maya or Max or Blender or anything like that. It's kind of, you set it and then you send it to your application. So that's what I did, and that's how I got the size the way it is. All right, I think I answered your question. I can't tell because Restream dropped to the bottom again. Okay, thanks. Crap. There's a rule. Okay, so if you go to, I'll give you a link for a ruler later on, actually. Hulk is my favorite character. Eye candy for me. Thanks, man. Alright. What's up, Saeed? Mike, do you explain this in this live, the preparation for the sculpture, man? Yes, that's what I'm doing. Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Thanks for your tips. Yeah, cool. That's for your sculpting. Yeah. Okay. By Joy. So what? I'm going to get into a little bit of sculpting stuff for that head because it's not complete. And when I do, you'll see some of my techniques. about using Scale Master. Yeah, that's what I was using. All right, get ZBrush, use lathe character. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, cool. So let's get back to this now. I apologize if I'm all over the place. I've been growing my beard, quite frankly, and it takes up a lot of time and effort, concentration. All right, so we'll get back to the legs. I was talking about the legs. All right, so this is what I had last time. You guys, if you checked out a couple streams ago, you saw how I made this waist that will tuck into the upper body nice and clean, and should be seamless when I'm done. So if I take that and I make a, actually wait a minute, I want to load that working head again. Cut and key, head fix, open. Let's let that open. That's that. Come over here. All right. So what I want to do now, like I said, is I want to break this into parts. And a quick way to show you what I have in mind here is, let's do this. Let's make a copy. Make a screen grab. This. Save to desktop. Save. My screen is so dusty. This is crazy. Clean this up a little bit, sorry. Okay. Now we go to Photoshop and load this. Okay. So now I do this all the time. Now I can just draw over this nice and easy. Make my brush a little smaller. And let's get a color I can see. Why do we have the half glove? So the half glove is because I'm working on a Cintiq, and don't judge my office, it's really a mess. Let me see if I can get this turned around. So this is how I'm working on this screen. And rather than, and it's a good size one. So rather than dragging my fingerprints and palm prints all over the screen and getting it all messy, I wear this. Also, this tends to warm up a little bit, and so I wear the glove. That is why. My hand doesn't drag too. Sometimes, you know, your hand sweats a little bit, and then it'll affect how you draw and sculpt. Go back to the restream. What else is on here? What's up, Chris? Thank you. Too kind. I can't handle too many compliments, you guys. Don't do it. Unless you want to see me go scanners in here. That's an old movie that nobody's going to understand. You guys are all probably really young. But dude's head explodes in that movie right on the camera, and it was gross. So what I was thinking here is I want to cut it where I'm not going to mind doing cleanup. So the idea is it's easier for me to fill with epoxy. Easier for me to fill something and then sand it that doesn't have a lot of texture. So if you look at his arm, there's all these little pores and skin, little divots and pores and veins. So I want to go with something that if I sand it and I lose the detail, it doesn't look like an obvious flat area. So probably I would cut, on the jean. It's easier to sand these jeans because they don't have a texture on them. So I'd cut there. Now I'm not going to be able to do that everywhere, so maybe on this leg I cut him and it kind of cuts in the same area or something like that, like this. And it is what it is. You know, I could either do that, or I could do some like elaborate kind of a thing like this, which I don't want to do that. I did notice with the hand being a straight cut like this, it's just super clean. Like it's mad clean, you guys, and it goes on like a dream. So that's what I want to have more of. So I think I'll do the same thing for the legs. You know, have my key, you know, like this. And I drew this once before, but this is kind of what I'm thinking for this guy. What I was talking to you about earlier is I want to do a cut. Like this. And then this piece keys in. And that way I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and the print time is going to be cut in half, as opposed to printing this giant thing and it taking, you know, 30 hours. You can't see, it's too dark up there. So, you know, I print this, it takes 30 hours, and then at hour 29.8 the printer fails, right? And then you see me freak out and lose my stuff like I did yesterday. By cutting it in half, it's only going to take me, you know, maybe 18 hours or 12, whatever it is, and that's a hell of a smaller investment and materials, quite frankly, than printing the whole giant thing. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, with that being said, let's go back to ZBrush. Oh, jeez, Rick. Tried looking at the Bishop video, but I can't see it. Okay. It should work. Just DM me and tell me what's happening. Also, while you're thinking about it, Wakanda forever. Okay, no worries. Printer is the Creality Ender 5. Thanks, Mark. What's up, bum? Thank you. That's a heck of a peach you got going on there. All right. So let's... It's really bumming me out that this thing will not stay on top like it said. Just do what you said, man. You said you're gonna stay on top. Always on top. Click. Always on top. Do I have to save it? Appearance. Always on top. Now. Okay, great. It's working now. Boom. Yeah, I have a couple of friends that have the CR10 as well. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to clone this. And then I'm gonna go to the clone, and let's just make a cube. No, not yet. Let's duplicate it first, then make a cube. Turn on solo. There's my cube. Let's scale this thing up. This is going to be my Boolean, by the way, you guys. So, just so you know that. So, I'm noticing that people are really into the 3D stuff, the sculptures that I do, but it's really hard to get people to respond to 2D lately. I don't know what that's all about, but 2D is like what pays, it's what pays for the bills, you guys. Like that's what puts food on the table, puts my kids through school. So that's what I do for real. Sculpting is what I kind of do for fun, and now I've just started doing for clients. But I say that because I just did a piece with Sideshow of ODB from Wu-Tang Clan, and I have that. It's for sale right now, and I've been promoting that. So what I wanted to do, if you guys are watching, it'd be kind of cool, and if you're hip-hop fans, especially if you're old school hip-hop fans or Wu-Tang heads, anything like that, if you pick up the print, just do me a favor and just take a little selfie with the print and tag and send me the picture, and I'm gonna post it on my social media. So I'm gonna be putting it on my IG, and all the links are on the top there, but my IG, my Facebook, my Twitter, and I just want to see, you know, I'm a big hip hop head, and I like, you know, giving it love when I can. So I want to do that. So if you guys do that, please do me that favor, and I will give you a follow as well on your social media. All right, done plugging. All right, so that's that. Let's turn on the live Boolean. And now if I set this to a negative, this is how the cut would be. It's gonna cut him right off at the leg there. So right off the bat, not bad. I gotta do some tweaking because I want it to be a nice, you know, clean cut. So what I'm gonna do is let's turn off the Boolean mesh. I'm gonna make a duplicate of this because I'm gonna need one for the other leg also. Duplicate, and I'm just gonna mirror and weld that one like that. Okay, so now if we turn on Boolean, it looks like this. I obviously didn't get the whole foot, so let's turn it off for a sec. And let's move this. Let's move this back a little bit. Oh, not both of them. Okay, I know what I can do. Oh, I know what I can do. Let's auto group and hide one. Here. So hide one, split hidden. Okay, this one we don't need. That'll be a key later, actually. So we got two separate ones. I'm gonna grab this one, move it back like that. Now if I turn on Boolean, there you go. All right, so that's kind of what it's gonna look like for now, until I tweak it. So the other, I'm gonna do one of these at a time. And turn off the Boolean. And I want this thing to cut kind of right at his knee. So let's grab the front of this. Actually, let me go into my, now I actually don't need this on top. So can this move? Yeah, let's move this here. For now, let's go to ZModeler. Okay, turn on the polyframe. I want to delete this edge loop. I want to delete this edge loop. I want to delete this edge loop here. I want to group by normals. Okay, so now what's going on is each one of these faces is its own group, so I can isolate and move things around. So what I really want to move right now is I just want to bring this edge down some. So first let's just make sure this is kind of, would have been easier if I'd done this before I rotated it, but let's bring this down a little bit. Okay. That. And then if I turn off the polyframe and I turn on Boolean, you can see that as the front looks good, actually. So now I want to move it back. So let's grab it back. And if I turn on Boolean, and I drag it, this is, you can see it live updating. That's just it moving. Okay, so if I turn off the Boolean, you can see that now I've made something that's shaped like this. And if we look at the cut, it's going to be like this. Now this may not be what I want at all. Let's see what the inverse of this looks like. So let's flip it. And this is the bottom of the leg, which is all right. Okay, I still, if I'm looking at it from the front, I want to move this other side up a little bit. So let's go back to this. And let's grab this part and turn on Boolean. Turn it on. Oh, turn it on. And then drag this corner up. So once this key's together, you're not going to see this line anyway, but because I've got like ridiculous ADHD, I need to do this, man. You guys are gonna let me finish. Taylor, I know you had a great album, but you gotta let me finish. Beyonce killed it this year. She's a genius. All right, what else is going on? Prefer old school Wu-Tang. I don't like mumble rap. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm not trying to alienate anybody, but let's just say my kids and I are on a different page when it comes to what's good and what's not. You think your Wu-Tang war sword can defeat me? Sculptors Pro. Absolutely. Ask away. After multi-subdivisions. No, you cannot. You gotta delete the subdivisions. Alex beat me to it. What's up, CJ? All right, cool. So that's that leg. And if we're looking at it, it's cut on the gene, which is what I wanted anyway, right? So if I turn off this, if I flip the Boolean around this way, see, it's on the gene now, which is easier when it comes time to sand than if I was doing sanding skin pores. That'd be a mess. All right, so that's that. Also, if you just came in the room, here's an idea of the scale of what this is gonna be. It's a monster. So Hope, what'd you expect? All right. So that is that leg. This leg over here. Let's turn off this one. Let's go to this one and turn off that. Okay, I know for a fact that the back needs to raise up. So let's grab this back of that. W. And raise it up. Oh, now you see what happened there. I still have, I didn't delete those center polygroups or sorry, the edge loops. So let's delete those. Delete that, delete that, delete that one. Right? I want this clean. So less loops is good for me. That is a huge print. Let's see. Oh, Judgment Day was a great album, man. All right. You want to keep the subdivisions. So what you could do is duplicate. You could duplicate the subtool that you want to use Sculptors Pro on, then delete the subdivision levels. Do your Sculptors Pro sculpting. When you're done, project those details onto the one that has subdivision levels, and you should be fine. And you have both things. How long did it take? How long did the arm take? All right, so for the arm, The hand took 12 hours. So I got 2 hands, 12 hours each, right? Let me switch back to my big screen. Fit screen. All right, so these 2 things took 12 hours, but you see the level of detail that they kept, right? You can't see really the build lines. So fresh off the printer, it looks like this, which even still, very difficult to see the build lines, which to me blew my mind. And this is 1 millimeter layer height. So that's what it looks like. You can kind of see it on the back there, but where it has the skin pores, it's really hard, it's difficult to see it. So hands were 12 hours each. This part, shoulder to wrist, was 27 hours. But you can see, it's like a football. This thing is like a Nerf football, dude. It's huge. Huge. All right. Small head mode, activate. Size of a smaller head. Where is the thing? Transform. Reset. Transform. Ah, dude, come on. Paste transform. That's the one I want. Paste. Transform. There you go. Oh wow, I didn't know that this is getting cropped. Let's move this up to here, and move this up to here, and move this down. All right, cool. Yeah, 1 millimeter layer height. Or 0.1, I think. You need to see this in real life. Oh, really? It doesn't render well on the stream? Well, look back, when this is all done, go back to YouTube, because I'm recording this in 4K. And it looks pretty solid in 4K when you look back at it, on YouTube, anyway. Skin pore stuff, yeah. Thanks, Bum. All right. This isn't the same Bum that was like Professor Bum, right? Did you lose your title there? Same guy, different guy? I remember Professor Bum back in the day used to come through. W. All right, so let's straighten that out. Oops, let's move this up here. Thanks, CJ. Yeah, no, it does. It does. It takes a while, but it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. All right, so the filament that I'm using right now is something called Sunlu, S-U-N, Sunlu Pro PLA or PLA Pro. I also have Hatchbox PLA that I'm going to try it on, but I will tell you, I had two fails because the PLA, the filament tangled on itself. And one of its selling points is, hey, this is a tangle-free filament. Lies. Of course, when I tried to call Amazon to find out what they could do about it, they're closed because of this pandemic. All right. So that's that. Let's turn back on this. So now that cut's gonna look like that, which I don't have a problem with that. It's kind of clean. I don't mind the angle. And I just want to kind of hide it in the wrinkles and the natural kind of bend of the knee. So then if I flip it, it looks like this, which also not too shabby. I do want to bring it down in the back because I want it to stop there. So let's do that. Let's turn this off. Turn back on the, why is it not doing it? Am I on the wrong one? Turn this on. Not mad at that. And then let's flip it. Yeah, that works for me. All right, cool. So my cuts are going to be there for the knees. That's that one. That's that one. A little higher on this leg, but it's going to cut on the jean, which I'm cool with. Okay. So at this point, what I can do is I can make the things, pegs. Jeez. What's up, Crimson? Have I ever modeled in clay? Yeah, actually I have. Monster clay. Yes, sir. Makes me thinking this was resin. No, yeah, no, it's PLA. I wish I had a resin printer. But what the plan was to cast this, do a 2-part mold, and then cast and pour resin, which I might do because I do have some friends that want to get their version of the guy. So I'm thinking about doing some multiples and selling a few to a couple of friends of mine. Thanks, Crimson. All right, cool. So that's that. Let's go to solo. Okay. I'm going to go back and let's just duplicate this. Turn into a cube. Cube is way up there. Turn off solo. Turn off Boolean. Turn that off. And turn off. Turn off that. Okay. W. Center that. Rotate. Scale. Okay, this is going to be my. This thing, since I can't think of words today. Jeez Louise. Pen, I guess. Oh my gosh, yeah, Ashley is great. A cubed is amazing. This whole thing I sculpted of the Hulk, she could do it in one session. And it would be something that she totally thought of, a property she just made up in her head. That's her mutant power. She's sick with it. All right, solo. Same thing. So most of the Hulk and most of everything I do starts off as a cube. I love the ZModeler tool, and I use it for everything. Like, I'm not even kidding. Even my organic stuff starts off as either a cube or a sphere in here. So I'm just gonna scale this top down so it's more like that. I want the key, yeah, I want the key going up. All right, so that's cool. Turn off solo. All right, now my Boolean it doesn't matter where it hits on that. I'm concerned with the leg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this, I'll turn back on the live Boolean, I'll turn on negative, and I'm going to, as you can see, this key is way too freaking huge. Like, that's massive. Let's scale that down, move it over. Let's move it down. Let's see it. Oh, we can't see it. Let's flip this. Flip this. Which one am I on? Flip both of them. Wait a minute. There you go. All right. So I want this key in the middle of his leg. All right, I'm gonna do something like that. And I want it to angle into, because it's a Boolean, it's doing weird stuff. Let's angle this a little better. this, right? That's not bad. And that's in the center of his leg. It's also really big, it doesn't have to be that big. A little smaller. That. And maybe a little longer, like that. That is fine. All right, cool. So that's what that looks like in the calf. And if we flip this, turn this off. Flip it. What am I doing? Okay, this needs to go up. All right. Hold on a sec. This is on. Turn off Boolean. It's a little confusing sometimes. All right, so that one's on. No, that's the leg I want. I want to be on this one. All right, so this is on. The peg is on. Turn on this. Turn on this. Where's the peg? Turn it off. Here it is, right here. All right, wait a second, you guys. There's that. And that's the leg. Is it in the right leg? Yeah, that's in the leg. That's there. That's there. Okay. This is a... Oh, that is... that's also a negative. This is going to be a negative. This is going to be a negative. Then I turn on Boolean. Then I turn off transparency. There you go. All right, cool. Got a little confused there for a second. No big deal. So this is still kind of big. Like, it doesn't have to be this big, really. Let's shrink it a little bit. Like that. Yeah, because I'm looking at the ones I use for the hand, and they're kind of like that. Good thing is you don't have to worry about them suckers breaking off, and you don't have to worry about this shifting around at all. So that's one leg down. I'm going to keep that pin, and I'm going to call this key. That's his right leg. That's his right. So let's rename this right leg key. And then let's name this right leg Boolean. Right, so now I can't get confused any longer. And I'll do the same thing for the left leg. I'm going to duplicate this key. Let's turn off this. Let's solo this out. And let's do a duplicate. And let's do a mirror. All right, so now this one is going to be my left leg key. Left leg key. And then this is the Boolean for the left leg. Rename. Okay. All right, so if I turn on both of these, make these both negative, and I turn off solo. Oh, you know what? I just assumed that that key was in the right place. That was not the move. Let's actually put it in the right place. So let's get rid of this. Let's go to the key. The key is there, it's just not where it's supposed to be. Let's turn that back on. Yeah, that's why. So I'm gonna go to the key, center, solo. I want to line this up so it's kind of where it's supposed to be. Actually, it's easier just to tap on this thing and then rotate. Okay, let's use my gizmo. All right, turn off solo. And I want this to be angled and down into the cutter here. Q. All right, so let's turn off transparency. And there that is, which is not bad, but I want it centered. I don't want it to be off center here. Put that there and rotate it a little bit. And we can kind of call that a day. But now let's, before I do, let's flip these things. This is just a regular, it's a regular deal. Flip this and let's put this below so we can see it. Okay. All right, so this is what the bottom of the leg is going to look like. And I am not super unhappy with that either. That kind of works. Let's rotate it a little bit. Must be perfect. All right. All right. Cute. Let's turn that forward. So now we can actually cut this thing. So let's do it. Let's turn on the Booleans so I have the lower halves of his legs. I want them all to kind of be the same way. All right, that one I'm not using. What is that? This is the thing that, okay, this is the one I'm going to use to cut them in half, which I'm not using now, so I'll put that on the bottom. That's not in use. This is the key. That's the key. This is the cutter, and I want it to be set to that, and I want this to be set here. So now if I turn everything on, all right, let's do this. Let's do this one at a time. I'm gonna do this leg first. Just because. Okay. Yeah, exactly. The software is ZBrush. Yeah, it's all about ZBrush. Topology doesn't really matter for a 3D print, not at all. Everything's getting decimated anyway. So it's all good. Wait, there's Professor Bum. It's like Superman and Clark Kent. So there's a bum in here, Professor. Did you know that? Are you guys affiliated? Do you know each other? My internet is trash. Maybe your stream is downloading something. Okay. All right, cool. So let's do the Boolean now for this leg. And all I'm going to do is go down to Boolean and make Boolean mesh. Okay. That's going to process, and it should give me that lower half of his leg. Alter ego. All right, cool. So let's go back to, this is the leg. So this is what we just made, right? So now if we turn on the poly groups, you can see that this is kind of what it looks like, which is not ideal if I had to make any changes, but for now I'm cool with it. I want to make sure that everything is right, and then I'll go and fix it. But you can see this foot was super dense, like really dense. In fact, did I decimate this leg? That's 4 million polys. It's all right. All right, so let's take this. That looks good to me. I'll show you what I do, actually. Let's just do it while I'm here. So now I would take this. This is 1 million polys. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a project history state. So if I click on my Control key and then click on the slider up here, the little timeline slider at the last state that I like. See, I changed colors, it's lighter now. So what I can do is I can duplicate this. Right, let's turn on solo. And now I can go and do a, I don't think I have to do any, I don't have to change anything on this. I'm actually cool with this. So I'm just gonna decimate it. All right, I'm gonna go to my decimation master under Z plugin, pre-process this, drink a little bit of water. And then when this is done, I will decimate it. Bunsen, what do you do? Okay, so that's done. And now if I go to, I'm gonna do it about 20% and hit decimate current. Okay, so now, but okay, so it's kept what was going on at the top there. Because I'm not going to sculpt on this, it doesn't matter. If I was going to sculpt on this, I think in my last stream I showed you guys that I wanted more geometry up there. Like if I tried to smooth or alter anything up here, it would be a mess because you have these giant triangles. Down here I could go in, even if I was using the Sculptors Pro, I could go in and keep sculpting. On the top part I can't, there's just not enough, there's not enough information there. So the way I would fix that is I would Dynamesh it, then project the details back, and I'll just show it to you real quick because this is essentially the same thing as what we have here. It's just a little lighter. That's 1,000,000. Oh, actually it's considerably lighter. Let's see what it looks like. All right, this is 200,000 points. Wait a minute. Let's do something. This is 1,000,000. That's 200,000. Wow. Okay, so the decimation on this thing is incredible. We went from 1,000,000 points. Let's just take a screen grab. This is 1,000,000. This is 200K. And I defy you to find the difference. There's like no loss in detail whatsoever. And it is so much lighter now. So if I was to send this to my printer, this is the difference between sending something that's, you know, a huge file and something that's a much lighter file. It's just going to, it's not going to necessarily print any faster, but it's not going to be as heavy on the software itself. So anyway, that's that. The shadow thumbnail thing in 2020. Yes, yes it is. And in fact, I have a little 3D thing that I added my own boot here. What's that called? Not the Gizmo 3D. That's called the. It's called the Cam View, which is also really cool. It helps you orient real fast. Like click on the front view. Right? Click on the bottom view. It's pretty dope, actually. I like that. But getting back to what I was just saying, let's use a decimated copy. I don't even think I have to project anything. It's pretty dope, but let's do it anyway. See if I can get any more detail back. So remember I made that history save point on the first one? What I can do now is I can go to this model, go to project. This is good if, like, say I lost some detail. I could go to project and I could go project history. and it'll project all those details back onto this guy. So let's say, for example, if you're not familiar with this, it's just a dope thing. So I'll just turn on Sculpt Pro and go to my, let me move this backwards. We don't want that right. There's fine. Okay. I go to Sculpt Pro, and let's say I go and I'm sculpting. And I'm like, no, I didn't mean to do that. That's not good. I could project history from that save point, and it should theoretically make it go away. So let's make a really crappy, let's just screw this thing up big time so you can see it. All right, so there. Oh no, what am I gonna do? Click on project history. That's not what I wanted at all. Why did it do that? Project history. Normally it works. Oh, maybe because it's decimated? Maybe it's because it's decimated. Let's do this. I'm gonna Dynamesh it. Dynamesh. Okay, now you see how soft it is now? Very soft. You lost all the details. So before it looked like this. Now it looks like this. So now if I go project history, it should fix it. Yeah, so see before and after. Okay. So that's one way to do it. Now remember, when you're Dynameshing things and you have close areas, you can get some issues between the toes. I had that problem last week, or last time I streamed, and I had to go and fix it. So if I back this up to before I Dynameshed it, it looked like this, which is cleaner, and therefore I'm going to keep it. All right, so anyway, this is my leg. I like this. This is the one that's 200K. So I'm going to rename this good left calf. All right, and I'm going to copy it. And I'll go back to my dude and I will paste it. Paste. All right, so that's a good calf. All right, I don't need it anymore, so I'm going to turn it off. But that's good. So now I go back to my working file over here, which is this one. And if I turn off solo, you can see this is what I just made on that one. Now I don't need this. I can turn this off. I can turn this off. I can move them to the bottom. I don't need that. I don't need that. Now I'm going to do the right leg. Let's turn these on. So here is his right leg. All right, same deal. I'm going to go to Boolean, and we will, let's make the light so you can see it in here. This light is in a crazy angle. There you go. It's a little better. All right, so now we go back to our tool, go to Boolean, Boolean, right here, and we say make Boolean mesh. All right. Yeah, definitely. They've optimized a lot of things in ZBrush. It's really nice. After we can see the final result of the whole print sculpture. Yeah, after it's all done? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, the decimation's crazy. That was my thing, right? So I did a I used to really be concerned with the topology, and I have these friends who are animators and they do rigging, and then I have another friend who's like a topology, like he does it for fun and knocks it out. My friend Tony, he's crazy with it. But his stuff is always super beautiful, so he can take it into, you know, Substance Painter, he can take it into, you know, Marmoset tool bag or whatever, and it's always, it looks like it's really, really nice to work on. For something like the, you know, for something like the Carnage, that's one of the things where my UVs were wacky because I wasn't good at it at the time, and my you know, my topology was okay, like it was all right, but if it was better, I think I could have done a much better job on it. So but for just printing, I mean, I got friends like Daniel Bell and Joe Minna, who they don't care about topology for the most part. Like Eric Sosa, like those guys, they just churn and burn, and they make some amazing, beautiful statues. This is one of Eric's. Oh my God, I don't want to break it. Oh, don't break it. Oh. This is one of Eric's pieces. It's mad heavy, by the way. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Eric Sosa, and I saw him working on something, and I was asking him about topology. He's like, "No, I don't care about topology. It's whatever," because he's not animating his stuff. But if you guys are going to use Unreal and everything, then sure, that's a thing you need to worry about. I just want cool statues, man. That's my thing. ZBrush, you gonna come back? Oh, I don't know why it puts it on the second screen all the time. Don't do that. All right. I missed a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's okay. I have been working on my machine. Get some cool things for it. See you later, guys. All right, cool. Catherine, yeah, no, it's dope. Eric's a beast. All right, let's go back to the grill again. How about this one? Is this it? Ooh, wait a second. That's not what I wanted at all. Do I have, you know what? I'll tell you, see how it kind of has that line here? I think that's because on that Boolean I used to cut, I did not get rid of the, I didn't get rid of that edge loop in the center. So let's go back to it. And let's go here. And let's solo this. Yeah, you see that? What's it doing there? What is that? It looks like it's... Huh. See what it's doing there? That's weird. But there's no... It's weird. It looks like there's faces here, but they're not there. And that made it have a really weird kind of deformation. I wonder if it's because of the way I dipped the model down, but it's not that extreme. All right, I'm going to do this. Let's do this. I'm going to delete this face. Come on. Okay. Okay. I'm going to delete that top face. Delete hidden. And I'm just going to bridge this and close it. So if I turn on double, you can see what's going on here. Okay. So let's bridge this hole with my Z modeler. Just go hover over an edge and select bridge, edges, and I'll just click here and I'll click here and it closes it. It looks like it's still doing it. I think it's because I have just a weird angle going on here, so let me just make this a little less extreme. W. Solo. Okay. Let's see what this one looks like. Now that key is see how it's not seated in the leg anymore? So let's grab that, move that down some. We want to make sure that that is in the mesh, which it is now. All right, so let's try this again. All right, let's try it again. Make Boolean mesh. First I want to delete the other stuff. So this one is, what is this called? Working cut and key Hulk, and then Hulk head fix. So let's clear these. And I want to open head fix, and I want to open working cut and key. No, not that one. Working cut and key Hulk. Where is it? This one, this one, this one. All right, cool. So now I go over here to the wait a second. What did I just do? Calf. This is the one I want. No, it isn't. Sorry, I just confused the hell out of myself. Hold on one second here. It's this one. This is the one. All right, let's maybe save this. Might be a good idea, huh? All right. And I'm going to save this as working. Save as working legs. Okay. So now I can't lose it. So now I will do the Boolean again. Make Boolean. Just going to think about it. Let's see what else is going on. YouTube chat link to the Twitch one. That's nice. Do you keep a detail? Do you keep details of skin in the print, Alex? Is that what you're talking about? Yes. Keeps them. Pretty good. Clip brush, hit it flat. Okay. Cool, thanks. 5130. Yeah. Sideshow, I have something coming up I can't talk about, but right now I have a print from Sideshow of ODB that is available to buy. So if you are a hip hop fan, pick it up. Do me a favor, take a selfie with it, and tag me and send a picture, and I'll post it on my Instagram. That would be cool. That'd be cool, right? All right, so here's the leg. It's weird. It is, it's weird that it's doing that. I wonder if it'll do it the other way. Let's do the opposite and see if it does it there too. So let's flip these. I want this to be this way, right? No, this way. And I want this to be negative. Okay. And I might as well do both legs at the same time. Let's do that. So this is a negative. This key, I'm gonna need that key. That's the key I said I would not need. Let's turn that back on and make it a negative. All right, so let's try this. Make Boolean. Alrighty then. What's up, Invasion VR on Chris Customs? Stuff about a cube with a crease. Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Alright, let's see what happens on this one. Let's go here. Yeah, I did it. I think you're right, J Murphy. J Murphy. Let's go back to this one. This is that cube. Solo it. Yeah. Alright, in fact, I'm pretty sure you're right. Show you right. Let's first crease it. Geometry. Crease all. Now divide. Boom. J Murph. That's what it is. Okay. That's exactly what it is. So let's let's do it again. Turn off solo. Now, did the other leg do that as well, or just the one? Let's see. Yeah, it's just the one. All right, cool. So let's go back to this. Let's do this again. First, I'm going to get rid of these things here, and I will make Boolean mesh. Make Boolean mesh now. Mesh. Okay, so it worked. It said that I should probably check the integrity of the mesh. So yeah, I'm looking here. That's pretty. I think that. Oh, you know what though? Okay, so let's do this one more time. I know what I forgot to do. Let's go here. Let's clear this. What I did here is I have subdivisions. Where is it? All right, so I have the subdivisions. I do not have. Okay, dynamics turned off. I'm going to, let me see something. This is the one that's divided? Yeah, it is divided. Is it divided? It's divided a couple more times. Okay. This one should be butter right here. What happened to my key? Oh, okay. You know what? Because I moved that key, this one, the leg is wrong, so that's not what I want at all. So, something's going on with this key right here. So I'm glad I didn't just accept that. This is the key. Let's turn off the let's turn off solo. Why does this look like this? Transparent. Oh, the angle is not right. Okay, and it's not even on the. Okay, so the key moved, which I don't want. Let's fix that. Okay, this should be right. There you go. That's cool. Make that a little smaller too. That looks bigger than the other one for some reason. Okay. Now let's do it. This should be the one. Secrets Customs. Yeah, Booleans are bomb. That's just it's just a preview thing that happens when you do live Boolean. Until it actually commits, those are going to be there. It's not a big deal. So we go over to this leg. See, now it's crispy, clean. Boom. That's what we want right there. What time is it? 2:38. Okay, so that's good. Okay, I like it. We are not done with this guy yet, but I'm going to copy him. First, I'm going to rename him. This will be waist, torso. Good waist. All right, let's copy this and go back to my. If you click on this tool, it goes to all the recent files. So I'm going to go to, which one was it? I think it was this one. Yeah. Go to this, and I will, let's go to solo. So there's the leg we brought in. And here is the waist we brought in. Now, something I just realized, this leg isn't going to work anymore because I changed the key. So let's get rid of this leg, delete this. It's good to catch these things early. So let's delete this leg. This is the hero waist. That's going to be a keeper. Let's go back over here. All we have to do now is flip this, and I can get the bottom parts. So I'm going to flip that, and I'm going to flip that. No, you can only do one at a time. Let's turn that off. And I want that key to be positive. All right, so this is going to be my right leg for him. Let's do Boolean, make Boolean. I have to check the mesh integrity on these pieces too. I didn't do that. Because see, I'm getting these little messages down here. So it's easier just to do them right from the jump, and then you don't have to remember to do it later. Let's go back over the leg. Let's go to geometry and modify topology, not modify topology, it's check mesh, mesh integrity. Check mesh, okay, and then fix mesh. All right, so now we should be good. That should be good. Oh, the other thing that I always do when I'm doing these pieces is just make sure that there's no random faces that are just floating around. So right now it looks like this, right? I have faces, different poly groups for all of this. What I want to do is I want to auto group this, and what it should do is it should group the shell. And if there's any kind of hidden polys on the inside of this model that I don't know about, because remember those pants were a separate item than the leg. So maybe inside of that penetration it did some weird things and there's some pieces in there I don't know about. So if I go to my selection and I click on this part, okay, and then I flip it, okay, there's something there because it's letting me go back and forth with this mesh. So if I select this and then go back, there's something here that I'm just not seeing. Maybe if I turn on double I can see it. Just better safe than sorry. So what I'll do now is, this is what I want, so I'm going to delete hidden. And I didn't get a message saying, hey, there's nothing hidden, so there's nothing to delete. So there was something there even though we couldn't see it. Right, so it's all good. So now what I can do, I've checked the integrity of the mesh. I have deleted whatever kind of random geo is there that I didn't want. I can go back to my subtools. I just like to duplicate and make a cube again, right? So there's my cube way up there, and I'm just going to scale this guy up, okay, and kind of get it in the right place. I'm going to turn off the poly group and make it a negative Boolean. And then I'm just going to slide it through and just do like a little MRI of this bad boy. Make sure that there's nothing missing. Now what I could do is delete one of the edges and I can see all the way through. That's the idea. So let's hide that. I think if I delete one of these edges, I have two. So what I want to do here is auto group. Alright, I only want to delete one edge, this one. So let's delete this. Delete hidden. Yes. Okay. Now it should look like just an open face box. Right? So if I turn back on this thing and I slide it through here, hopefully. Okay, that didn't do it. Wait a minute. A second. Maybe it has to go the other way. Wait a second. What is this way? I know I did this one way before where I could see through everything. So, Boolean. Alright, whatever. Alright. So I did do this before where I could see inside of him, but I don't remember what I did. So anyway, I like to do this to make sure that there are no random kind of things that are a problem here. I noticed that when I had the mouth bag for the head, I could see issues by sliding the thing through. I'm gonna delete this. That was a fail. Whatever. All right. So anyway, this leg is fine. We know that it matches the torso because we made it from that torso, or the waist. I'm going to rename this his right leg. So right calf, actually. Right calf, good. I'm going to copy this, go back to my here, and I'm going to paste. All right, so now this leg is here, and if I turn on transparent, you can see that this is the leg with the key, right? And if I go to the good waist and I look, you can see that they have the key, the female joint there, right? So male joint, female joint. And everything fits together, nice and smooth. I'm gonna make it real funky for you. So let's go back to this one. Turn off transparency. Now let's do the other leg. All right, so we go over and turn off this key. We don't need this key anymore. Just drop this down. No, this is the right key. We just did his right leg. We need the left key. And we need the left leg. We don't need the right Boolean or the right key. This is why you name things. Left key. And let's move this up here. And left leg. All right, and we want to switch it to positive and this is on. Gotta turn that off. All right, so there's that. Why am I not seeing the key? Is the key supposed to be below? Below. Wait, it's supposed to be above. There it is. All right, cool. The thing with Booleans, it matters what order things are in, right? If I'm cutting away from something and I'm cutting away from the thing that I want to have on top, it has to be clearly, it has to be above. All right, so there's my key, there's my leg. That is the good one. So we're gonna do the Boolean mesh, okay? Oh, I haven't read the comments in a while. Thanks, B Magart. Yeah, so after this is over, go back and check out the stream again on like YouTube or Twitch. Early in it, I showed how I use Scale Master to determine the size of this guy. And he's going to be approximately, this chair is crazy squeaky, about 22 inches, which is there to there, from bottom of his foot to top of his head. That's without the base. And so if we look at his arm, oh, this chair is crazy, you guys. Sorry, I gotta lose weight. Oh my gosh. All right, put this together. All right, so this is his arm, which is mad big, right? Looks huge, but if we look at his whole body, it kind of makes sense, because his hand is almost as wide as his waist, if not as wide. It's pretty big. Yeah, so I got a lot of hate on on Facebook too. Like, people are not happy with my proportions, but you know what? It's mine. This is my Hulk, and I want him to have some big ass hands. So it is what it is. Sorry, guys. How long does it normally take to prep the model for print? That's, oh, for print, that's what we're doing right now. So, I mean, when I was doing it for the thing I just did for a client, that was, I mean, it was a lot of pieces. So it was like a week, but yeah. Yeah, Simplify is what I used on this one, and it's light years better than Cura for me. Just to give an example, these are the supports on Simplify, and they come right off. So, like, look at that. I mean, that just came right off. I don't have to use pliers. They just kind of get everywhere. But yeah, I mean, they come off super easy. And then look how clean it is. It's crazy clean, like very little cleanup. So that's Simplify. If I was doing cleanup on Cura, I'm not even lying. This arm, which I just printed 2 days ago and sanded, prepped, and then put the primer on, it would have taken me 3 times as long to get to that point. So Simplify is definitely worth the money. All right, hollow model. Yeah, so right now it looks like this on the inside. This is kind of, let me get this out of the way. It looks like this on the inside. It did have a cross pattern, but I'm going to, it's a very small infill, it's only 10%, but the edge of it is thick enough that I'm going to get rid of that infill altogether. Actually, it's not needed. And this guy is solid, like it's very solid. Hulk has thick bones. Yeah, I'm not going to do SLA. I am planning to do multiples of this because I do want to do different. I do want to do different color apps. I want to do a red version as well, and I have some friends that want prints of this, so I'm looking at doing a 2-part mold and resin copies for sale. Bigger than Sideshow Collectibles Hulk. Hands look sick. Thanks, man. Haters gonna hate. You know what? They hate us because they hate us. So, licensing, we do Marvel stuff. No, I don't. That's why it's just a piece of fan art. I'm only gonna do it for a few friends. Plastic in the keyboard. You were right about that. I wasn't thinking about it. It will be at home with the cat hair and sweet, sweet new beard hair that is falling into the keyboard every day. So, wow. It always auto-saves right when I want to do something. How am I doing on time? Almost 3, so I have 1 more hour left. I feel like I haven't gotten a lot done. Been doing a lot of talking, you guys, a whole lot of talking. Did you vase print with Simplify? I don't know what that means. Vase? What you talking about, Slug? FX Node, you are very welcome. All right, so this is, okay, this is the leg with the Boolean, right? So here it is. Let's check the integrity of it. Subtool. Geometry. Fix mesh. All right, so that's good to go. Let's auto group and let's see if there's anything that is inside of this bad boy. Okay. Now again, if I click on this and it does not do anything, that means there's no like just random points floating around, which I mean probably wouldn't be a big deal with this printer, but it's better just to have it clean just to get into good practice. So I'm just going to delete everything that's hidden. Delete hidden, right? I will rename this. Rename. All right, this is left. This is his left. See, I always confuse it. All right, his left. Left. Calf. Good. Calf. Good. Also, if you came here for spelling and math, you came to the wrong place. Don't be coming around here for math. I'm not a math magician. I like to sculpt things, I like to draw things. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm all about. All right, so we're gonna copy this right now and go back here, and we will now paste. Boom. And now if we were to hit transparent, okay. That's not right. What's going on here? That is wrong. What's wrong? What happened? You see how the angle of this is wrong now? That's not what that's supposed to be doing at all. Did that move? All right, I'm going to copy that old waste and bring it back in here. So, or not old, but the one that I'm using that says good. Let's copy this. Go back to the thing that I'm using to make him and paste. Let's turn off Boolean. Turn off this. It looks like my cutter moved. I don't remember moving this. I don't remember moving that. What happened? Did I use the wrong thing? Leg. Left leg. Leg 3. I used the wrong thing. That's all that is. I named the wrong thing. Alright. Be careful when you're doing your naming conventions, you guys. So the thing that I'm using as the cutter was that duplicate that I made at first, which was nothing, right? So remember, I said I was going to use that to split him in half. So I'm going to call this NIU, not in use, and drop this down to the bottom. This is an easy fix, and I'm glad I caught it, because that could have been disastrous come print time. Imagine spending, 18 hours printing only to realize that you used the wrong thing to split your dude. All right, so I'm gonna bring this back up, and this will be called, this is gonna be called left leg Boolean. All right, so let's rename this left leg Boolean. All right, so now if we look at the, let's turn off everything but the, it's transparent. Let's switch to this. Yeah, okay. So you can see it matches up with that cut that I had before. So this top part is good still. We just need to make the calf again. So let's do that. Let's turn off transparent. I'm going to turn back on Boolean. I'm going to take, why can't I see this? That's positive, that's inverse. That's there. Is it supposed to be? Here, hold on a sec. Solo. That, okay, that's that way. Let's turn this off. What is happening there? Something's happening. Is this supposed to be above? Boolean's on. Alright. Give me a second here. I'll figure this out. Turn that off. Turn that off. Oh. Using the wrong thing. Okay. This is the one that's already been cut. I don't want this, so I want to delete this. Delete this. This is what I want. And this is going to be on. This is the key. This is the cutter. turn on Boolean, which it is. Turn on the cutter, which that's on. Okay, here we go. All right. I was tripping. That's on me, you guys. All right, so now we can do this. And we know that this is the right angle as opposed to the one that I marked not in use. So now if we go over to make Boolean, before I do, I'm going to clear this because the one that I called left leg good, actually let's just left calf good, rename this crap. Right, now I know. Don't use that one. All right, now we'll do Boolean. Boom. So now I can't make the mistake again. All right, what's going on? Good vibes, haha. I'm going to print this one. We're going to gum mode. No, I'm not going to gum mode this, son. I will be sharing it with a few friends. Thanks, man. I came here for science. Well, that's good. Science I could do. Math and reading, not so much. I like to think I drop science on you guys every once in a while. Playlist is easy. This is all, I went to YouTube and just found a bunch of DRM free music because I used to yank my music all the time. I need to make a new playlist actually. I'm sure this is old after 30 3-hour videos. It's probably getting a little old. I had a cat hair in my mouth. I've been talking for hours. How did that happen? Keep your eye out for the Evo Saturday. Yeah, I saw that. That thing was crazy. It's pretty crazy, Chris. I did see that. I saw Uncle Jesse, I think, doing a YouTube video. Print is a hollow print safe one. Nice. Yeah, let me know if my sound is messed up. That could be this song. This song is kind of garbage. Let's skip it. Boom. I think that song was just terrible. So that's that. Also, if the person who made that song is listening, I was just kidding you guys. I didn't mean that. So now this is the one we want. This is the left leg union mesh. Okay, it's clean. Same deal. First thing, right off the jump, we are going to go to geometry, fix the mesh in case there are any problems. Says it's fixed. Next thing, I'm going to auto group it. Auto group. Now it's one group on the shell that I want to keep. Anything else is going to be a separate poly group. So if I solo this and invert, which it's doing it, I delete hidden, and then I don't have any junk geometry that's in there. Right? It's all good. Good. So now I will go to subtools and copy. First rename it. This is left calf good. Now copy this. Go to my model that has the pieces, and I will paste this one. All right. So. Left calf good. Wait, this is the garbage one. Let's delete this one. First, let's see solo. Yeah, this is the one that I don't want. Delete this one. Okay, so we got right calf. We have left calf. We have good waist. So now if I turn on transparent, turn off solo, everything matches. See how that's clean. It lines up. It's not going to be that difficult to sand. Those pieces should match up, and I should do very little filling with the wood filler, which is another thing I use. So I got my little bag of tricks over here. I don't see my wood filler though. All right, take my word for it. I have gray wood filler somewhere. I have my steel wool. I got my fine grit sandpaper, which I'll do a few layers of sanding, one with more of a coarse grit, work my way up to the fine, and then do a little bit of wet sanding if need be. But I gotta tell you, with this one, all I did was just like kiss it with the steel wool, and then I primed it. And the only thing I had to do was I had to like tap the key a little bit, because it was such a snug fit that after I painted it with primer, it was getting stuck. So I just kind of sanded it a little bit on the key, and now you can see that all of those luscious pores stayed. Everything stayed. It's all good. Everything is there. Anyway, all right, so that's that. Torso's good. Calves are good. Now the only thing I have to do, and I still have time to do it, is I'm going to split this. I'm going to split his pants right down the middle. So if I turn this on, we can see that we have his upper torso and head, and we have the arms that I printed. So there's this guy. I think, is that this one? Yeah. There's this guy, and this hand is right here, right? Looks just like it. And then this hand is this one, and it kept all the detail, right? And then this arm I have to reprint because I got a big fat fail on the filament. So all things considered, the only thing I lost on that was time and, I mean, material, really. But those things are like $25 for a giant spool, so it's not that big a deal. All right, so I'm gonna save this because I like what I got so far. Let's go save as. 3 is the one I want, not 3-1. Save. Yes. Okay, so that's saved. I'm going to go to my good waste. Okay, this I like. And now I can split this in half. Now, what's going to happen here is I will separate the left thigh from the right thigh, and then key together where this key is going to be, and then the thing will slide into it, actually. So what I can do is I can duplicate this, duplicate, turn it into a cube, what I always do. You already know, scale it up. This is my process, which, I mean, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm sure this is how most people do it. But you know, just a lot of back and forth. Sizing, honestly, is more of a that's more important than what I'm doing right now. Making sure that everything is the proper size, because it's kind of a bummer to go through all of this work and then have something that the scale is screwed up. So the whole idea of this now is I bought this beautiful this beautiful Captain America sculpt that I want to put Hulk next to, and it's Daniel Bell murdered this piece. It's a beautiful piece, so I want the Hulk to be able to stand next to it and not look corny. So he has to be big, and he has to, look good enough that you don't just be like, yo, why do you have this garbage piece sitting next to this work of art? If I can do that, then I've succeeded. All right. So I'm gonna turn off transparency here, and I know I'm gonna have to move this around a little bit. So let's do this. Turn on polyframe. I don't need this edge loop here, so let's switch this back to edge loop. Insert, actually. Delete that. And I don't need this one. Delete this. and I want to insert a few loops because I'm going to be moving this around a little bit, and I'll add some loops later. But for right now, what I want to do is I want to follow that contour of his fly. So let's turn this off. Let's go back to transparency, and you see how it's looking here. Let's grab these bottom edges and move them over some. Oops, don't want to rotate, I want to move. Right, I'm going to try to match the contour of this fly so that when you put it together, I don't have to do a whole lot of work. Like those seams are going to hide my, the natural seam of the fly is going to hide where I'm putting two pieces together. That's the idea. So that's good. The back is pretty close. Actually, the back is not bad. All right, so let's turn on transparency, and I want to add another set of loops here, and maybe one here. Okay, then I can select these. And I can move this over. This doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it close. All right, and I can see that, yeah, I can see the contour of the rest of it is not too far off. I'm going to add another loop here, like this. All right, turn off the transparency, and now is the now's the fun part for real. So let's turn off the poly group, or the poly groups. Yeah, let's turn that off. Let's turn on. Let's make this a negative Boolean, and we can just try to actually let's make it positive. Let's flip it. There you go. So now I can grab my move tool, and I can start just moving the. Am I on move? I'm on move. And I'm on the thing here. Yeah. Now I can start. Dude, what's going on? All right. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, I'm going to subdivide this some. I just want to make sure that it doesn't like get circular on me here. What are you doing? Let's grab this. There you go. There's that. All right. So now if I turn on dynamic, it's going to look kind of like that. I don't want it to look like that per se. Saving. All right. For this one, I'm going to crease it because I don't want to move extra loops. So crease. Edge loop complete, and this should go around the edge all the way. Now if I went around that edge, let's go this way. Let's go this way. Jeez, it's going around every edge that I want. I could have just done one edge at a time actually. That would have been fine too. All right, now turn on dynamic. There you go. And I will turn up the subdivision levels to 3 and hit apply. Okay. So if I did it do it? Lower res. Higher res. Yeah, okay, it did it. Alright, cool. So now what I can do is I can go back, turn off the poly fill, and go back to Boolean. Now I should be able to move this thing. Yeah, right. And I just want to kind of follow the. Obviously, I don't want to cut it on these stitches that I spent hours and hours getting just right. That would be ridiculous. So I want those stitches to be safe, but I do want it to be on the seam where the stitches are. So let's get close. So what's going to happen is, once this thing prints, and you put these two edges together, because the denim overlaps itself, you shouldn't even see it. You should not see that seam. That's the hope anyway. And then see how it cuts down the key like that? That's not a big deal at all. Nobody, I mean, you don't see the key. So let's flip it the other way and look at this side. And it's all right. Let me see something. Flip. Flip. All right, I want to pull this way a little bit. Oh, geez, Rick. What is that, though? Let's turn off Boolean. Actually, let's turn this off altogether. Oh, okay, I have two seams there. All right, so I'm gonna. This piece is thicker, so I'm actually gonna move it to that. I'm gonna move it over a bit. So let's flip this back. And drag this. Oop, wrong thing. Let's drag this over. Right there. A little bit more. Like that. Make this brush a little smaller. See, having these subdivisions allows me to get this exactly where I want it. Which is all to the good. That's good stuff. Now this inside, I would just go and smooth it a little bit. Because I want that to be as flat as possible. I don't want a whole bunch of divots and stuff in there, mucking it up. So that's all right. Move this a little bit, this a little bit. All right, I think that's good. Let's flip it. I can noodle with this forever, but I'm not gonna. Good enough. All right, so this is what my cut's gonna look like. And so now, at this point, what I would do is I would go to a lower subdivision level and just smooth this out a little bit. All I'm doing is I'm not smoothing the actual torso, I'm smoothing the thing that's cutting the torso. So step up, smooth. And because I have a creased edge there, I don't have to worry about that edge getting all soft and mushy. It's going to stay nice and sharp for me. That looks good. That looks pretty good, I think. That's fine. Yeah. All right. So step down. One more time. Step up. Like right here is about where I would want it. Like this. Smooth that out. And move this over just a little tiny bit up here. All right, so I'm not mad at that. That would be one side, but now what do we need? We gotta make a key to fit in and hold these two sides together. So what I'll do now is I will duplicate this cutter, duplicate, right? And I will make this into a cube, which I always do. First I have to delete lower, subdue levels, delete lower, delete higher, delete lower. Cube. All right, there's my cube. That's gonna be a key. Center it up, scale it up, bring it down. this one, I had to do this on the Zion. The Zion has a really huge base, and it's like an oval. And what I did was I cut the thing in half and then keyed it so those two pieces of it looks like the wood from the basketball, like the Lakers or something like that, one of their basketball courts. So I had to make that key together. But when I was done, it looked really nice. So this is going to be our key. This, and maybe for this one I'll just do two small ones, and then that way I know that, you know, it's kind of where I want it to be. So I'll grab this side. Just want to make sure it's not at a wonky angle. Okay, so that looks good. And let's grab this and scale this. Scale this. That. I'm sorry I haven't answered a lot of questions, and I'm going to look at the thing in a minute here. All right, so that's fine. And now I'm going to duplicate this. Just drag it. Just going to hold down Control, drag, or Command on a Mac, and I'll put another key in here, like this. Now the main thing is I have to make sure that they're at the same angle, because if they're at two opposing angles, the keys aren't going to fit together. So let's try to keep them the same. Right? Maybe what I'll do is I'll just move it down and angle it like this. Okay, and it doesn't have to be like super. It doesn't have to be. Come on, dude. What are you doing? Let's do this. Drag this. Drag this down. And then make it thinner. Like that. Okay. Cool. So that's cool. Those will fit together, and glue. Maybe let's hold on a second. Move these up here, and then I want to do this. Maybe one more. That. Cute. So now I know this thing is gonna fit together nice and tight, and everything's everything. All right, so that's cool. So I like that. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Offset the joints for 3D printing tolerance. You know, I don't, Metal Dragon, I don't, but then I always end up having to use my Dremel and tap them down a little bit because they're so tight. So I really should be, you know, kind of offsetting the key a little bit and making it easier on the back end. I should do that, but I haven't been doing it. Anyway, how tall will this be? This will be 22 inches tall without a base, from the bottom of his foot to the top of his head. Steel wool is just to clean up. So usually when I pull this right off the press, you can see it kind of shines. See how it has that shine to it? I just knock that back with steel wool, and then that also is going to help kind of alleviate some of the lines, the build lines, which on here, I gotta tell you, these are the finest build lines I've ever seen on my prints. And I did a whole lot of printing before when I was doing the Zion. I did not do like a ridiculous 0.5 or anything. This is like, or 0.05, this is 0.1 millimeter. And it just looks really, really clean. And when you have, like where it has the skin pores, you don't see the build lines at all. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy the detail this kept. So that's what the steel was for. How much do you think it will cost materials once it's done? And bills calculated. So I'm thinking, Randy, this is going to be probably, for one of these guys, probably about a spool and a quarter. It's amazing how much that a spool will do, but I think a spool and a quarter, even with the fails that I had already. And I'm not gonna print and leave anymore. Like, I left for hours at a time, and that was on me. But I'll just stay here. I'm also thinking about investing in a Raspberry Pi and hooking up. I forget the name of the software, but there's software that lets you monitor it remotely, and you can stop prints and start prints and all that good stuff. Also hook up a camera so that you don't have to have your computer on all the time to look at it. How long did the finished Hulk sculpt take? If I told you, you would probably laugh at me. I've been working on this thing on and off for a good 2 years. I just have been doing paid work, and I wouldn't work on it for a while. What's up, Nell? Neil. Hello from India. What is up in India? I love you, Hulk. Hulk loves you too, Chris. What made you go for a filament printer over a resin one? Price, pure and simple. And I saw Grassetti printing his Yoshimitsu and Nova, and like, I had no idea that you could have, you know, resin quality on a filament printer. I just didn't think that was even possible. So Chun-Li has not been printed yet. I want to go in and revise her face, and then I will print her. I want to print her. I want to print my the princess from Gatchaman. I definitely want to figure out how to print this guy. You know, like, I think it would be super dope to have a Carnage, especially with the movie coming out. Like, now is a perfect time for me to print this guy, figure out how to print him. So I was talking to somebody at Sideshow about how I could do these tendrils. You know, figuring that part out is the hard part. I think that maybe I do those out of monster clay, and then make molds and do a 2-part mold with resin, and then it'll be fine. Teeth probably are a little fine too. I probably have to figure that out as well, because they're pretty fine in there. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to print. It was a confidence thing. Now I'm starting to get confidence. So love the details. Nice work. Thank you. Thank you. Printer Creality Ender 5. Ender 5. Can I create a tear so one can see some of the screen? Okay. How much filament do you reckon I did that? Yeah, ready? Hulk should be naked because our insurance from his green. So yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Pants totally would fall off. Also, you're kind of preoccupied with Hulk's pants falling off. What's going on with that? That might be a whole other issue with this particular superhero that might need to be addressed. Yeah, there's no way his pants will stay on. What is it? Unstable particles. PEM particles make his pants stay on. Print is failing. Look for the thing. So the print didn't fail. That's the thing, right? The print did not fail. It was the spool of resin that caught on itself and then didn't feed. So that was the problem. You know, that was a bummer, and it happened twice. Never happened with Hatchbox PLA, only with this Sun Lu. And I'm wondering if I got a bad batch because they actually market it so that it does not tangle. This is weird. Yeah, I haven't put any extra nozzles on. What I have put on this thing is I put on TL smoothers, and I put on, that kind of helps with salmon skinning. I've never had a problem with salmon skinning ever. There's like no salmon skinning on this thing whatsoever. super crispy clean. And I also put on the it's a thing that goes on the I don't know what they're called, the things that feed the wow, did my music run out? Hold on one sec. Music ran out. Can I do it again? I'll do it again. Okay. The X, Y, and Z, you know, the carriage that makes them move back and forth, I put on a thing that smooths that movement as well. So that, and I upgraded the Bowden tube. For anybody that doesn't do like filament printing, you guys are like, I don't know what you're talking about, but for you guys that know, I just replaced the hot end. I'll put together a list because it was a few things, but I got a new hot end, new Bowden tube, and TL smoothers, and then the things that go on the carriage. I don't know what they're called. Do you have any socials to follow? All of my information's at the top. Look at the top there. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Everything should be on that top border. And yeah, I'd love for you to follow me on all of that. And if you have, if anybody's picked up my ODB, I'll show it to you real quick while I'm in here. Why not promote myself? Why not? Why not, you guys? Let's see. Just quickly. ODB open. It is not here. All right, sorry. My naming conventions are terrible. I'll do it next time. Go to my YouTube. I mean, not my YouTube, sorry. Go to my Facebook, and it's my background. But that's the thing I did for them. That's the print they're selling right now. If you buy that, take a selfie, tag me, and I'll tag you on my Instagram and put the picture on there. Spool lock. Yeah, that's exactly what it was, Mark. And it sucked. Thought it was SLA print. I'm blind. Okay. All right, cool. What was I doing? Oh, I made a, I think I did the, yeah, I did. Okay. So this is our guy here. And you can see that because I did not subdivide, again, because I did not subdivide the cutter, I got those like odd kind of angles there. So I'm just going to go in one more time and do it. Grab this and solo it like that, and let's divide this thing, shall we? Yeah, let's divide it some more. Divide. Wait, is it? Oh yeah, there it is. All right, so I know what it was. Oh, okay. Let's do this. Step down. Smooth. Back on it. What's going on over here? All right, I just masked. Wait a minute. Auto group. I see what's happening. Okay. I see what's happening here. So let's this is at the highest sub-D level. Delete lower. I'm gonna add a loop here. Insert, add a loop here. Right, that's fine. Let's add a couple just in case. All right, now I just want to smooth this part out. So I'll mask that, flip the mask. All right, now I should be able to smooth this. And it doesn't. I don't want it pulling those other sides down, that's the thing. Like that. All right, that's good enough. Good enough. All right, I'm going to give this one more divide. Like that. Delete lower. Now, turn off solo. Yeah. All right. Now let's do our Boolean. Did the music stop again? I guess it did. All right. How much time do I have? Yeah, I need more music. We need more music, you guys. Let's just play all. I think I played that one already. Playlist. Okay, playlist. All right, sorry. Bear with me 1 second. Turn that on. And okay. All right, that should be it. So that's done. Let's go to, is it this one? This is the old one. This is the new one. All right, that is crispy. That's the one that we want right there. All right, so we're gonna call this waist left. First, let's do the integrity check just to make sure everything is right. Fix mesh. Let's do an auto group. Delete hidden. Rename. Copy, and then okay, now we can paste. All right, we'll turn off the other one. Now we got something that looks like this. Okay, so let's do the right side. The right side is this one. All right, so now I want to flip this. I want to flip this. Yeah, and that's it. All right, so let's do a Boolean for this. Make Boolean mesh. Can I borrow your config? What you talking about, Willis? Yeah. Hey, thanks, Nick. Odell Palmer, what's up, dude? Odell is a good friend of mine. Yeah, exactly. I think the only person with worse naming conventions than me is Rick from Rick and Morty. All right, that's cool. So let's go back up. And this is the right side, which is right here. And I did see that there were some errors, so let's go to geometry. Odell usually just stops by just long enough to say he was in here, and then he bounces, and then later on when I ask him, he's like, yeah, no, I was there. Like, all right, now. Thanks, bro. All right, that's fixed. Auto group. Boom. Delete hidden. Okay, so now we can copy, actually rename this first. Subtool, rename. Waste right. Copy. And paste. Paste. All right. So now if we turn on transparency, we got the, let's turn off his upper body. We don't need all of that. Turn this off. Off, 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 and off. Okay. So right now we have one half of his waist, the other half of his waist. Wait a minute. Okay, so that's one half. That's the other half. Then we got one leg. We have the other leg. Okay, good. Okay, so this is what I want. 4 pieces. Those things are gonna print. If the, okay, if these arms took about 20, 25, 27 hours to print, the legs are even chunkier than the arms. I'm thinking these things are gonna take maybe 30 hours. But if I get rid of that infill completely, maybe not, I don't know. Let's look. Yeah, they're bigger than the arms. Feet and legs are gonna take a minute. So I'm glad I cut them up that way. So now I got 4 pieces to deal with instead of 2. And the torso is the only thing that's gonna be one solid piece. I gotta chop his head off. How much time do I have? About another 15 minutes. So what I was doing before, let's save this. It's probably a good idea to save. Save as. Cut and keyhole, save. Yeah, let's save that. And I think I saved the file too. So file, save. Save the document. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, so I have his head fix. All right, so for those of y'all who wanted Naked Hulk, here he is. There you go, some Hulk butt for you, Professor Bum. Calm down over there. All right, so we got our head, we got our hair. I went in and did I did sculpting on the hair to bring that up to speed. For his head, just so you can see what I was talking about, right? This, let's solo it out. Before it used to look like, if I grab his head, and let's slice away half of it. I had a whole mouth bag in there, right? That thing was just making a giant mess because the teeth were pulling through, the bottom of the mouth bag was pulling through. None of this is going to be seen. His mouth is closed. Unlike my friend Odell, I'm not going to animate it so his mouth opens up. And so that's not needed. So what I did was I went in and I redid his head and I made it just deep enough to accommodate the teeth. So if we go in here and we hide half of this, this is what it looks like now, which even still, this piece back here, I didn't necessarily want that. I can probably, I think it's its own, yeah, okay. So the good thing about that now is if I were to Let's do this. Let's grab just the head. Okay. Let's grab just the... I only want this pink piece here. Let's hide that. And then we get rid of the head. Hide that. Okay? So this is the only thing I don't need. This is that part of the mouth bag that extends past the part I cut out. So if I turn on the teeth here, you'll be able to see that you don't see that. They're inside of the teeth. They're not needed. So if I flip this back the way it was, all right, this is what I want. I have his eyes, I have his mouth. If I turn off transparency and I turn off the colors, this is the way I want this print to be. And I'm even going to go in and try to inflate behind the teeth to get rid of those pockets, because those pockets are what cause those spikes. And ultimately, it just, ZBrush tries to interpret them, and it just turns into a mess. So I'm going to clean up the teeth, get rid of that gap, the little tiny gap that's behind his mouth, so that it's one thing. And this thing is going to print much, much cleaner. The thing that I just hid now, if I go back to solo and I flip, there's that geo that I don't need, right? And this is kind of what I was deleting when you saw me making the leg and the thigh and all that. Like, I was looking for pieces that would be there but not needed. So now if I go back and hide that and show only the pieces I want, I can go delete hidden, click on delete hidden. Now that piece is gone. So I don't have to worry about when I do make a Boolean with the teeth and the head. If I wanted to go in and Dynamesh that together and then get rid of those pockets, I'm not going to have issues where that piece just explodes and shoots through his head. All right, so I got to do that. His eyes are okay, but if you look at his eyebrows, like, his eyebrows are still low. Like, I didn't even subdivide those yet. Right, that's a mess. Gotta fix that. I've inherited a mess, folks. I didn't even texture his face. It's weird. I have just parts of it textured, so I don't know what that was all about. But literally, that's all that I have to do as far as the sculpting is done on the main character. I just need to come up with a base after the fact, but he'll be printed and he'll probably be sitting on my desk while I'm figuring out what I'm going to have him standing on. So, 10 minutes left if you guys have any questions. Thanks, man. Pixologic, put your socials in the description. Having issues finding many Mike T artworks on. Word? There's more than just the one? Thought there was only me. That's not good. You left out the T. Oh yeah, Mike T artworks. Thanks, man. And that's my site too. I don't have my site up. Give me a visit on ArtStation. Give me a visit on the site. I have a coming soon section for my website for 3D stuff, which has been there for like 3 years, that I have not updated. I'm trying to talk my daughter, who just started college, into being my social media manager, and keep my site updated. But she's like, Dad, she's mad busy. So go to my ArtStation if you want to see my 3D stuff, or Instagram or Facebook. No hair and no teeth, look like Grandpa Hulk. Exactly. Like I said, once I do the key, once I cut off his head, I'm gonna do a switch out for Thunderbolt Ross for the Red Hulk as well. So that'd be kind of cool. How you get so good, man? Yeah, Odell is the guy who told me when I first started, hang in there, man. One of these days you're gonna make it, brother. He was right. Now I'm doing things. You can't get to the site. Just don't do the www. Just do MikeTArtworks.com. Do that, and it's all good. And ArtStation is Mike's Artworks as well, so I think it's ArtStation.com/. Mike's Artworks. Booyah. Yeah, thanks, man. If you guys can, give me a follow on Instagram. Seriously, I'm trying to break 10K. I've been at 9,000 something forever. But anyway, I got about 9 minutes left. If you guys have any questions about anything, hit me up. I gotta stretch. And thinking about making homemade pizza today. So I have to start working on that dough. You all, what's up, Carla? Thank you. Thank you. All right, anyway, what do I have now? Let's go back to the dude. So, all right, so we don't need this now. So this is the thing to always remember. I can go in and move the things I don't need to the bottom and eventually delete them. So, but just in case I make a mistake, I have them. Now I'm going to shoot this to the bottom. And I have another one. What's the difference there? Oh, it's funny. This is the one that has feet on the bottom. Like I didn't chop his feet off. This is the stand on your desk version. This is that one. So yeah, if you guys, just to get an idea again of the scale, if you saw my Zion print before, this is going to, let me turn this on. This is going to be and this and this. All right. So my Zion is 24 inches tall, including the base, and this is Hulk next to it. So I did put Hulk's hand next to Zion, and his entire span of his shoulders is one of these guys. He's a big one. But I digress. All right. Anything else before I get out of here, you guys? I'd like to know something. I'm trying my first character, and it's an orc. He's holding a hammer with both hands. How can I do the hands if they're giant and I don't have reference? If they're giant, you don't have reference. Why don't you have reference? There's like a million orcs online. I would look on ArtStation, do a search for orc, do a search for giants on ArtStation, and if you're just looking for proportions, that's what that would do. And of course, obviously, you just make the hammer a little smaller, and then that'll feel like the hands are bigger. No worries, tip. If you want to have the white silhouette image gone, put the color on black. Oh, so it's just that, yeah, I don't mind having that actually, because then I know I get a really good idea of the silhouette itself. Like that helps me out big time. I like that. What kind of paint to use on 3D models? So I just bought a bunch of okay, blowing up. I just bought a bunch of stuff that I can use with my airbrush. I have some Liquitex colors, and I just bought some skin tones. There might be Vallejo. They're by somebody that's like an artist that I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know he has paints. But yeah, did that. Let me know if you guys can hear me better too, by the way, because I went out and I invested in a mic, a good mic, and so I should sound better now. Let me know. I know I listened back to my old streams, and it's embarrassing how bad the sound was before. How do you deal with live Boolean keys errors and fix them in Mesh Mixer? Why not just fix them with your geometry the way I've been doing? I've been getting those error messages and then just going in and under geometry, you just check the mesh integrity and fix mesh, and whatever problems you have, it should fix them. Yeah, gigantism, exactly. All right, one more time, you guys. I'm just gonna, you know what, from now on, I will just write down the name and keep it on top of my screen. I can do that. But I have the Creality Ender 5. Yeah, Creality Ender 5. And it's not the baller edition, it's just the regular, one. I got mine a year and a half ago. Sound is good, quality is great, good. How can you show how to get his huge point count subtools out of ZBrush in one of the next stream? His huge point count subtools. You mean as one thing, Nerb? I want to answer this before I get out of here. Just do me a favor and let me know what you're asking. How do you decide how many keys to put? It's usually like one. I didn't want a really big key between. I know that on his so on his legs, come on. Yeah. I know that over here, I already have a big key going through his waist, right? That is going to be there. I didn't want another big key because what's going to happen is it's going to weaken this wall here. And I don't want to glue it together, fill it, sand it, have it nice and clean. And that little tiny thin wall just cracks because I have a giant key there and breaks out. That's the one thing about this. It's hard to see. So this is the one that failed. But if you look at the edge, let me make this larger actually. Transform, fill screen, fit to screen. All right, so if you look at the edge, this is like I think it's like 3 levels or 3 layers of thickness for the edge, which is nice and strong, right? I'm gonna get rid of this infill entirely and have 0 infill. And then I'll probably add one more layer to the edge to make it like 4. So it'll be super thick, even thicker. This infill is not making it any stronger, by the way. This stuff is like, it's really brittle, right? That's crazy brittle. But what I was gonna say is, if the wall is thin here, this piece will crack right off, and then it'll be a problem later on. So that's why I just made extra keys. I never do that. It's always one, you know. All right, sounds good. Thank you, thank you. His hands are super big. I can't find good reference to hands for something together. Not good in the random yet. Yeah, I would just go on Google and look for like trolls or giants, something like that. Where do you print? In room? Where do you print? In room. So the printer is in my office, and it's behind me actually. And see it right there? Right there. And so that is in a corner, and what I usually do is let that run and then close my door and go out, and like the TV's in the other room. I'll chill out there, and then the bedroom is another room over, so I don't really hear it. But I did see a nice article about, and I'm gonna get out of here because it's 4 o'clock. I don't want to cut into Ashley's time. But I did see a good article about putting down foam and then putting brick on top of that, like a layer of foam and then a layer of this certain kind of brick, and it gets rid of all of the noise, not all of it, like 8 decibels, or decibels, whatever that is, of noise for the printer running. So that would be pretty awesome actually. So that's that. Are you reviewing models right now? You want me to look at your model? Just DM me. Like, follow me on any of that stuff up top, and then DM me. Follow me on Instagram and do it there because I need more followers on Instagram. Thank you. Subtools because they are all together. Well, I would decimate those subtools, and you can do them separately, and then bring that count down if that's a problem. And if you want to take them all out at as one thing, you could. I mean, you can, what is it, group visible to have them all as one thing, if that's what you want to do. All right, is it an ender printer? Yes, it is. So it's not toxic to keep it in the room print. No, because this is PLA. This is, think of this thing as a giant glue gun. It's only just, it's taking the filament, a roll of filament. I can show you because it's just broke. So this is the roll, right? And all it's doing is putting this through a hot end, which essentially is a glue gun on rails, and it just goes around and moves it where it's supposed to go, and it melts it to a really super fine consistency, and then you get detail that lays down like this. So yeah, that's all that is. But it doesn't smell like anything. I mean, when it's melting it, you don't even smell the plastic. The room gets a little warm, that's about it. Now if it was resin, then no deal. You'd have to have the window open because that stuff can get kind of loud as far as the smell goes. All right, I think that's it, you guys. Let me make this regular size again. Transform, paste. All right, so that's it. I am about to bounce. If you guys want to see more of my work like this Carnage here, check me out on ArtStation. I have more of my stuff. I have a Last Turtle illustration that I heard. Now they're going to be doing a comic book called The Last Ronin, which I'm not going to say they stole my idea, but I was doing that like 5 years ago. That's on my ArtStation. All his brothers get killed, and there's only Michelangelo left. So he goes from being a jokey guy to like a hardcore dude. But I'm not mad at you. I would love to see that comic book. All right, guys, everybody, take it easy. I will see you next time. My name is Mike, and stay safe, social distance. All right, it's not over yet. Peace.